Hello, blue. I need that vice back there. I need that. Give me this. Soon. I promise. If I don't give it gas, it dies on warm starts. There we go. That's what I need. Next stop, Harbor Freight. Have you ridden in this car since it's been tuned?
I don't know.
Here, hold this. Point it at yourself if you'd like. I'm gonna be honest here, I expected more. On pump? I'm kidding, dude. Don't kill us. More! Pretty happy with how this is coming out. I'm digging it. What do you think, little one? Can you give me your wise words of wisdom, Mrs. Big Ears? Miss Big Ear. Can I keep tilting your head like that? You're very cute. Look at those big ol' ears. Look at those big ol' doggo ears. So I've been working on building a cleaner, more organized, more streamlined engine building area. I've got like all the engine building supplies here. I've got 2 closed decked EJs right here. Wiseco pistons, Manly rods, King bearings, crankshafts, which I know I'm gonna stand those upright. I'm just waiting on a rack to come in so that way I can do it so they don't fall over or anything like that. Trying to get a little bit more serious about this, a little bit like cleanlier and a little more organized. You'll be good. I gotta go work. I gotta get the wheels off of the 04 STI. Someone's coming to buy them right now. And it's actually the fabricator who's gonna be doing all the work to Blue. So he's like 20 minutes out right now. I'm gonna get this car up on Quick Jacks. It's gonna live on Quick Jacks for a couple of days. I'll go get some tires tomorrow. I'll call around, see if anyone has any tires. Or I might just order them tonight, because if I order them tonight, Tire Rack normally like shows up the next day with tires. So we'll get some tires onto those new 1552s back there for this thing. So let's go ahead and get all these old works off of here. Move this out of the way. Here's 2. Okay, the works are gone. I got tires ordered. Tire Rack said they have them here by Tuesday. I just got a set of like DWS 06 Continental Extreme contacts. And I think they were like 245, 35, 18 for this car. I think that'll be a good tire size for it. So now that that's kind of situated, I also ordered like a whole bunch of new measuring tools for like building and whatnot, like digital, nice Minitoyo stuff. Like all my stuff now is Minitoyo, but it's all analog, and digital just makes it a little bit easier. So sweet, excited for all that stuff to come in. Jumping back on our 04 STI here because I want to get this thing running out of the garage and like done with here soon. So that includes a little bit of drivetrain maintenance. So we need to pull the fluid out of the rear diff. These older ones, 04 and 05 specifically, don't take 75/90 like you would in 06 plus WRX and STIs all the way through 2021 and some of the newer WRXs. These take 90 PA because I believe these are LSD based rear diffs versus viscous. I could be totally wrong on that, but I know for a fact that they take 90 PA, and I have some from, they take a different type of fluid. So I've got this, it's SAE 90, it's mineral. I got 2 liters of it. I think I have a liter left. I have exactly 1 liter left, which should be enough for the rear diff. So let's get all the old fluid out of the rear diff. I have no idea how many miles are on it. I have no idea what it's gonna look like. So let's put some fresh stuff in there. Come on, 1, 2, 3. Oh, there we go. Holy shit, dude. I'm gonna let that drain for like 10 minutes just to get all the old fluid out, and we'll start pumping in the new stuff. Looks pretty clean. I'd say it was done fairly recently, but that's the thing with these used cars, man. We don't know, so it's better just to do it now. Now we know it's clean. Now the rear diff fluid's all swapped out, I'm gonna go ahead and pop open one more of these 1552 boxes. I wanna start getting these wheels just put on the car as we're going around it, just to clear off space back here, because I'm just running out of room. We'll get the rear wheels tossed on. Up front, we're gonna hold off on tossing those on for now because I'm just gonna get that Super Pro roll center adjustment kit put on this rack like I said. I'm gonna run the fuel pump hardwire through the fender here up into the engine bay, so that way we can get that done, get everything sorted, toss the wheels on. Our new rotors have shipped. They'll be here Wednesday, so that'll clean up the front end there. So this car will almost be ready to go back out on the street again. Get the rear wheels tossed on, then we'll jump up to these fronts and start getting the roll center adjustment kit, all the wiring, all the fun stuff done with. Rear wheels on. Next up, let's run this fun red wire up through the grommet into the fender well and get the fuel pump hardwire done with, so the fuel system is pretty much good to go. Down here in the wheel well getting the fuel pump wire ran, and I happened to stumble across a little bit of rust. So I came up in here, I cleaned it, like everything around it, with just some soapy water, hit it with some rust reformer. We'll let that sit on there for a little while. We'll come back in here, sand all of this down, and then just hit it with some paint just to ensure that it doesn't rust any more than it already has. That kind of sucks. We don't want rust. But our fuel pump wire is ran up here. It is sheathed and everything. This is actually the old one I gotta pull out still, but the new one is going up in here into our engine bay, and I just have to add a fuse to that, and then we can connect it up to the battery. So sweet. Now that that's kind of done and I gotta let that rust reformer sit, I think we'll jump over to the tie rods next. So that way, we gotta do ball joints and tie rods. It's gonna suck. But we gotta do it, so I guess we'll start on that side first. Good news, bad news situation here. Good news, everything came out nice. Nothing was damaged. Ball joints came out super easy. Everything's looking pretty minty in there. Bad news is I have to buy a new power steering rack. It's either that or try to reman that one, and whenever I try to reseal or rebuild power steering racks, literally never ends well for me. On this side, I know it's gonna be hard to see just because it is a little bit dark. Let me zoom in and try to get it to do that. The whole boot down there is just ripped, dude. It's like not even attached to the rack anymore. It's not worth it, in my opinion, to try to reman racks. I just buy OEM. Even the remanned ones that you buy, you don't get a ton of life out of them, and I hate swapping power steering racks. I'd rather just buy an OEM one and be on my way and be done with it. So that kind of sucks. So I was really hoping to get that power or that rack situation's done with today. Whatever, it's not a big deal. Well, since I gotta order a new rack, we're gonna keep jumping around. I need to get the interior of the car cleaned up a little bit because there's wires everywhere. So we're gonna get the radio pulled out, wire up the radio, test that. I did get like a Sony head unit with Android Auto like I normally get for these older ones. I don't really like the iDoings in these ones because they look out of place. They look way too big. Got a nice little Sony one. Let's get that guy out of there. I have an adapter that the old radio was wired up to, so we'll splice them together, get everything wired up, test it, make sure it all works. If that's all good, we can start on doing the AEM oil pressure wiring and the AFR sensor. Dude, it's the modern touches, like having Android Auto in a car, or Apple CarPlay. I should probably pause this. Let's just open up YouTube. Pause. It's the modern touches of just having like Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, having like maps and all that stuff that just makes it so much better in my opinion. It makes it so much more sick. We have a working radio now. It sounds pretty freaking good too. Like, hold up. What else we got in here? Like, it sounds pretty freaking good. Sick! Working radio, which is honestly fantastic. I actually get way more excited. Honestly, dude, at the end of the day, I'm so much more excited to have this blob eye to drive around every single day rather than the hatch. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the hatch. The hatch is a blast, but it's kind of annoying to drive as a daily. I'm totally fine doing it. I continue doing it if I want to, but I want something a little more fun and like responsive. You know what I mean? Like rotated setups, they have their place. They're fantastic. They're awesome. But like stock location street cars, dude, they're an entirely different level of fun. That's one thing that I feel like a lot lot of people on YouTube get caught up on is just only power stuff. And I've come to realize this recently because I fell into that trap for a while too, where I was like, power. Only power. Power is all we want. That's no. I just want a fun street car. I don't want the Blob to be like insanely. I just want like 400 horsepower out of it. If we're at the end of the day, if it just makes 400 horsepower, that's all I want. I don't want this car to be pushed to its absolute limit. Everything is overbuilt. I want it overbuilt and undertuned. And just that way I can beat on it, I can have fun with it, and not have to worry about anything with it. So, sweet, now that the radio is kind of sorted, I guess we'll jump up here and get our AEM gauges and our SMY cluster back in for our AFR and oil pressure. We'll swap those ones around. We'll get those ones installed. We'll get them in. We got these gauges all working. So our oil pressure gauge that was working before is working again. I did redo the wiring. Same with our AFR gauge down there. So if I come in here and I put the key in the ignition, boom, boom, both of them work. If I go one more key turn, obviously we go into accessory mode, everything else turns on, the radio, the gauge cluster. We'll have our ATI triple gauge pod up there with our 3 Defi gauges, which I think will look absolutely beautiful. I got the well, I didn't marry it, but I did test the access port. I bought a used access port, so I just wanted to verify it was unmarried. It's not married or anything quite yet because this battery, I don't want to risk trying to flash the ECM with the battery being at the voltage it's at. I think it's a little bit low and it could probably use a charge. So sweet, very happy with how this is coming. It's coming out to be a toned down version of Karma, which I think will be way better. Also, our updated HomeLink mirror works. Also, that is plug and play. That one's out of an 07 STI. It's the updated version from Subaru, and it just looks better in my opinion. So the interior is coming along rather nicely. I think at this point we might jump up into the engine bay and start knocking out some little stuff in there. I'm debating if I want to drop the steering rack now or if I want to wait till I get the new one. We're gonna jump up to some engine bay stuff. Now, last time you guys saw this, there was a little bit more torn apart. I did take some time to clean a lot of stuff up. I got the intake in for the most part. I got the injectors wired in, the fuel rails in, the map sensor, I believe that was already on. Got the bypass valve mocked up, made a DIY IAT sensor for the, so it'll be hybrid speed density like most of them that we do are. So a lot of this stuff has been cleaned up. There's still some small stuff that I need to do in here, like run some vacuum lines, clean up a couple things, get rid of like a bracket or two here and there, finish installing the AOS. So I'm gonna run through this engine bay real quick, knock out the majority of that smaller stuff. That way we can get, I think at that point we'll be able to get the intake permanently in. Yeah, we should be able to. So I can start just going through here and cleaning a lot of this stuff up just to like wrap up the engine bay, because this thing is pretty much ready to start up with the exception of one part. I just need the coolant expansion tank for up here. I cannot use the OEM one because I don't even have the OEM one. I have a Moroso one that came with the car and it's too big for the intercooler piping because this intake manifold is from a 2017 STI, because I wanted to use one that was a little bit newer than the old beat up one that I took out of here. So this one, it is a direct plug and play bolt up system. If you want to swap to a newer intake manifold just for the cleanliness of it, you definitely can. Just keep in mind that there are some vacuum fittings that are in different locations. Like on the older ones, you had a 1/8 MPT, or yeah, it's like a 1/8 barb slide guy right down here. It's no longer there. So you're gonna have to get a little bit creative with how you go about doing everything in the engine bay for the vacuum lines. So I'm gonna run through, knock out all the vacuum lines in here, get the boost controller wired up, the external wastegate, the turbo reference, all that fun stuff. Then I can get, I believe at that point, the intercooler pipes and everything like that permanently put on here. At that point, it's just that coolant expansion tank, and then we're good to start this thing. So let me run some vacuum lines, and then after I get them all ran, I'll give you guys a walkthrough of how I did them all, because a lot of people always ask about the vacuum line system in these cars. So I'll walk you through it after I run mine. So I did a little bit more than I thought I was going to, and this thing's pretty much ready to start. With the exception of like 2 parts that I'm missing. And then we're good to start this thing again. And I'm so excited to see how it sounds. And the engine bay, honestly, I wish I would have powder coated the intake manifold different color. The red just kind of stands out, looks kind of dumb. But let me show you the vacuum system. And let me show you the current status of the car. Because like I said, it's pretty much ready to start at this. So starting with the boost controller over here. So port 3, which is going to be the middle port right here. That is going to be the reference directly to the turbo right down there. Port 1 on your boost controller, which is going to be that guy right there, is going to go to your turbo inlet over here. I just have mine kind of tucked down here just so it's a little bit hidden. I try to hide the vacuum lines as best as I can when I'm going through this. Now the last port on here, which is going to be port 2, which is going to be on that other side, is going to go down to your external wastegate down there to the bottom port. You'll notice that the top port on the external wastegate is venting to the atmosphere. Now there's a couple different ways you can hook up external wastegates. You can tee the top port into the reference. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can do. This is the easiest way to do it so you don't have excess lines going everywhere. They also have diagrams online, so if you need to pull it up, there's diagrams. Now after you get that, you've got your entire PCV system here, which I shoved all down under the manifold to try to make it look a little bit cleaner. Over here on your boost controller, you are going to have one reference line that goes straight to the manifold. That line is going to be underneath of the throttle body down there. Do not forget that line. Most of the time, unless you're just if you're doing a full rebuild, you may miss it. If you're just swapping bypass valves, you probably won't. Fuel pressure regulator, whether you're using OEM or aftermarket, you are going to have a reference line there underneath of the brake booster. The brake booster is going to be the top line and obviously goes to the brake booster up there. Now for me, because I'm using these lovely Radium fuel rails, I have fuel pulse dampers on them. You don't have to use fuel pulse dampers, but it does help a little bit with pulsation in the fuel system. I haven't noticed a massive difference with Subarus and fuel pulsation, but if you want them, I have them. I teed mine in to a 1/4 inch line that I have down here. You can see where it tees in right there. So it tees into a 1/4 inch line and then it goes to each one of the fuel dampers to be able to just give it the vacuum and the pressure that it needs. That's just going to work off of manifold reference right here. So any vacuum line or any vacuum port off of your manifold will get the job done for that. Aside from that, you got things as simple as like your bypass valve, which I still need to put a clamp on that. Bypass valve, intercooler piping, all that basic stuff. The vacuum system on these is really easy. I just like to take my time when going through it. So now that most of the vacuum system is done, actually now that the engine bay is pretty much done, I need to go get some vacuum caps just to cap off some ports that I'm not using on like the turbo inlet and a couple other small spots around the engine bay. I want to get the bumper trimmed up real quick because we can't run the fog lights unfortunately. So I'll get a set of fog light covers ordered. I decided I need to stop hoarding parts. If anybody did want that JDM OEM fog light kit that I took out of this bumper, hit me up. I need to stop hoarding parts. I've got way too many of them sitting around at this point and I need to like clear up space. So sick. Let's go ahead and cut up this bumper a little bit. I gotta cut off the fog light housing inner piece guys and then I'll get some fog light covers ordered today. I don't know, next couple of days, like 200 bucks for a brand new set. So let's cut up this bumper a little bit more and shove it back on the car. Eventually, I'm gonna cut out all this. Literally all of it. I think that should be good for rough cuts. I left all the mounting tabs for the fog light covers to be able to grab into it. Once we get those, it should fit. There's literally no reason in the world it shouldn't fit. So over here on the passenger side, fog light clearance was no issue at all. It would fit just fine. As you guys can see, the intercooler pipe goes down there. Driver's side was the problem because it wasn't the pipe, it was this coupler of where it comes out of the intercooler core right here. This coupler wouldn't let the fog light go in. It just kept hitting all, like literally everything in the way. So it's whatever. I don't mind having the covers on there. I think the covers look pretty good also, so sweet. Now that we've let this rust reformer kind of sit on here for a little bit, it looked like it did a decent, like okay job on there. Pretty much done at this point. Like I said, there's one thing keeping us from starting the car, which technically just one thing, which is that coolant expansion tank, which I need to be able to start. Obviously I can't put coolant in the car without it. It's all just gonna piss out of there. Can't fit the stock one, can't fit the Moroso. Well, I don't even have a stock one, so can't fit the Moroso one. It's whatever. One should be coming soon. need to order fog light covers. Tires will be here in a couple of days. I'm gonna get that power steering rack ordered today. Then after that, this car's done and it's ready for Josh. Like I said, I just want a cool like 400 horsepower out of this thing. I don't want a ton of power out of it. I want this to just be, I want it to be overbuilt, underpowered, and just fun to play with. I'm especially excited for this car to be almost done. Hopefully we can wrap it up in the next week. Once these parts come, the biggest thing is just shipping times, but hopefully we can just wrap it up in this next week, get it done, get it tuned, take it over to Josh, have a little bit of fun, hang out with him for the day. Make a little bit of sauce, not a lot. But the big reason I want this car to be done is so I can start on the blue STI again. Because that was my promise to myself, is once the hatchback was done, once this blob eye was done and running, and I had 2 solid running cars, I'm gonna go all out on blue, and we're gonna start getting blue ready to rip. We have a new motor coming back up to us. Now the good thing about all of this is with a brand new motor coming up, yeah, we're gonna have to change a couple things. We are rebuilding the wire harness. We're putting a breakaway connector in the firewall going from the cabin to the engine bay. But the big thing is we already have the tune built out. And Josh and I were talking about this when we were over there tuning the hatchback, is with a lot of those custom setups, sometimes it does cost an engine to be able to get things sorted out. We have things sorted out now to where once the new motor is in, I'm gonna put the original ID1300s back in it for startup, because that's what it's currently tuned on. When we get over to Josh's, we'll swap the connectors out, because the connectors from 1300s to 2600s is different, but I'll leave a little excess in the engine harness so that way we can trim it away and repin it and whatnot for those 2600s. But the good thing is the tune's already built out. We've already paid our sacrifice to the gods, and we've already given them an engine. So it's gonna be as easy as putting everything back in, turning it on, and breaking in the engine. All the hard parts are done. I already have the wire map from when we did it before. I know where everything goes. We are swapping from the hydraulic rack in that car over to a VA WRX electronic rack. Josh found a way, shot me some part numbers, so we're gonna attempt it in ours also. Clear up a whole bunch of stuff in the car. We'd be able to get rid of the power steering pump, the power steering reservoir, all those power steering lines, all that stuff, and remove more out of the engine bay, which is good because we want that engine bay to be as minimal as possible. But the big thing for me is getting back to blue. That's the car that I really want to work on. It's the car that I want. I miss that car, but I'm excited to have this one back on the road. So that's all I got for you guys on this one. Sorry for the little long outro of talking. Like I said, new engine building station. There's a lot of stuff that I'm just doing behind the scenes. I guess I'm going on a tangent right now. And after blue, I'm gonna take a hiatus from building cars for a little while. I need to get out. I feel like I've been living like Groundhog Day, where it's just come out in the garage, work on the cars, get the cars done, get them tuned, come back. Same thing. I need to spread my wing. I need to be the butterfly that I can be and go out, go do fun shit with other people, and get out of the garage for a while, man. It's just, I absolutely love building cars, but I'm feeling Groundhog Day-ish right now, so we'll get out. That's all I got for you guys on this one. If you're excited to see this 04 STI come back to life and live a new, better life, go ahead and hit that like button, turn to black, blue, green, yellow, purple, silver, cyan, whatever color it turns for you. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel and you want to be, put it in one of these corners. No idea which one quite yet, but with that, I will catch you guys in the next one. So peace out, homies.